been that guy. While you was at home doing this, I was in the club making moves. Slow whining with your future wife.
Would you fight Jake Paul? And there was...
I wouldn't fight him, I'd bash him.
Yeah.
Is he? Oh man, you look at Anthony Joshua, he looks like a superhero.
Anthony Joshua recently confronted Jake Paul live on Instagram after Paul publicly called him out for a potential fight. Joshua didn't shy away from the challenge but made it crystal clear he's focused on his own career and personal goals. Joshua calmly explained that he's not the type to engage in social media spats or waste time trading insults. "I'm not a talker like that," he stated firmly, showing that he values action over drama. Although he acknowledged Jake Paul's challenge, Joshua kept his response composed and professional, signaling that while he's not here for unnecessary back-and-forths, he's more than willing to settle the matter where it truly counts, in the ring.
Good luck to him, man. Do your thing. I'm gonna do mine, he's gonna do his. What more can I say? I don't really need to talk. I just do what I do. I'm not a talker like that. I'm not a talker. I handle my business. That's what I need to know. You tell me in America what type of vim do I need to bring. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this and that and that and this. Trust me, I'm from the UK. We stand on our business. I'm standing on my business. I'm gonna handle mine. I've never seen someone win a fight via mental games. Like the way you win a fight is by punching someone more times or punching someone harder than the other person. So it's here nor.
Eddie Hearn has strongly backed Joshua's mindset, publicly stating that Anthony Joshua is always ready to face anyone, anywhere, anytime. According to Hearn, Joshua himself has been vocal about his willingness to step into the ring with any challenger. Hearn's comments reinforce the idea that Joshua isn't afraid of any potential opponent, whether it's a seasoned veteran or someone like Jake Paul. Joshua is ready to fight and is never in the business of dodging challenges.
I mean, this is the first time I've spoken about the fight. To be honest, like, I look at it and I think Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua. I mean, look, for me, we'd do it for the banter. Do you know what I mean? Like, AJ would fight Jake Paul. He'd fight anyone, to be honest with you. And if Jake Paul wants to step up and fight Anthony Joshua, he'll need the relevant insurance. But, you know, the only thing that was disappointing was he says 2026. I mean, that's like calling someone out. That's like me saying, you know, LA Olympics for the surfing, 2028, I'll be there. Do you know what I mean? Do it in 2025 if you really want to do it. You're not going to get really much better at this stage, but I don't know, those two have spoken. I spoke to AJ this morning, he went, listen, of course, I'd fight. I mean, you know, if the question was asked to Jai, would you fight Jake Paul? And there was...
I wouldn't fight him, I'd bash him.
Yeah, but he might do it, he might...
Hearn also emphasized that challenging Anthony Joshua is no small decision, it's a dangerous one. He even joked that anyone looking to fight Joshua should probably buy an insurance policy first, given the level of risk involved. Joshua's raw power, refined skill set, and relentless work ethic make him a towering threat in the ring. Anyone considering stepping in front of him must be fully prepared for a serious battle with one of boxing's most powerful heavyweights.
Hearn responding to Jake Paul's call out of Anthony Joshua by stating this. He states, Joshua would fight anyone anytime, but warn Paul about the risk. If Jake Paul wants to step up and fight Anthony Joshua, he'll need the relevant insurance. And let me counterpunch. Eddie Hearn responding to this just confirms that this fight could actually happen. Because, you know, Eddie pretty much, you know, calls the shots. He makes the play. You know, Anthony Joshua's interested. Now, Eddie Hearn is stating that he's interested. So that means, you know, hey, why not wait? Why wait to 26? Why not this year in 25? And that means that he is very comfortable with putting Anthony Joshua in there with Jake Paul. And if I was Eddie Hearn, people, counterpunching this statement, I would too. Because this is, to me, again, like I've told you guys before, when Jake Paul called out Anthony Joshua, I think he overstepped.
While Eddie Hearn has expressed interest in making the fight happen, he's also been candid about Jake Paul's history of complicating negotiations, especially when it comes to financial matters. Hearn pointed out that Paul often stirs up drama over contracts and money, creating messy situations behind the scenes. However, despite their past friction, Hearn appears willing to look past those issues this time. The reason? Jake Paul is offering a massive financial package for the fight. That money is a key reason why Hearn is now seriously considering moving forward.
Like, I just seen Eddie on camera saying, "Look, man, business is business. Business is booming. Nigga, if I'm in third place and I'm getting paid all this, nigga, fuck it. You see, third place it is. Y'all tripping off this shit, not me. I'm good. And Matchroom is motherfucking eating. And Matchroom eating. I'm doing good and Matchroom is eating. So, shit. But it seemed like he was butthurt when he said it, because his voice was still cracking like he was gonna cry when he said it. You know what I'm saying? So, why wouldn't Jake Paul reach out to Eddie? Hey, man, look, man, we can draw up a deal, man. We can draw up a deal, and I'll give you $50 million too. You know what I'm saying? I can give you $50 million for AJ.
But hold on, so you made me just think about something. Salute to my boy Brent Fox coming through. If Eddie Hearn does this with Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, would that be like the ultimate betrayal from Eddie? Or is it all like...
Jake Paul hasn't held back either. He's taken shots at Eddie Hearn, labeling him as two-faced and accusing him of acting friendly in public while playing a very different game behind closed doors. Paul's track record with boxing promoters has always been turbulent, and his latest comments only add more fuel to the fire. His blunt, no-filter approach keeps the tension alive and adds another layer of drama to the ongoing conversation about whether this fight will actually materialize.
And of course, Eddie Hearn is already preparing his excuse.
Dude, he's preparing it.
Yeah, that's what he does. He's a weasel. He's a snake. Snake guy right there.
What do you mean he's a weasel?
Man, I don't even know where to begin with him. But he's very two-faced. You know, I think off camera he's like on your side, like, man, you do well, I love what you're doing actually, and like I really respect it, and blah blah blah, and you're gonna take this a long way. And then the cameras come on and he's like, you're not that good, da da da, saying all
so he's
this
selling
stuff.
he's
It's
selling
like a backhand, it's like a backhanded compliment,
yeah,
but or a backhanded diss. Like the way he words it and shit, he's like, oh, you're average. Well, average isn't that bad. Well, Eddie, what if I called your wife average? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Anthony Joshua has already proven himself against the best of the best. He's gone toe-to-toe with some of the most skilled fighters in the sport, including Alexander Usyk, who is widely known for his incredible technical abilities. Usyk managed to defeat Joshua twice, pushing Joshua to his physical and mental limits. Through these tough losses, Joshua demonstrated his grit, determination, and refusal to shy away from elite-level competition. His career is defined by his willingness to face the toughest challenges head-on.
Once the belts were finally out of my possession, which I was expecting to win, it just kind of tore me apart. And that's raw emotion live on your screen. Obviously, looking back, could I have dealt with things better? Yeah, of course. But at the time, that wasn't the priority. It was just outpour of emotion.
There are so many athletes we're seeing across gymnastics, cricket, rugby and football that have taken time out of their sport to deal with their mental health before coming back in. Did you at any point in that period think, I need to take an extended break away from boxing before coming back in?
It wasn't the fact I needed to take a break. You know what it was? I actually watched a lot of like fighters, they've taken time out of the game for those reasons as well. And I think, okay, if they've done it, I should be doing it. But I got to look at myself as an individual. And what it is, I feel like if I take time out, I'm letting everyone catch up. And I want to be ahead of the game.
Joe Rogan has consistently praised Anthony Joshua's incredible physique, often referring to him as having a superhero-like build. Rogan has highlighted Joshua's remarkable athleticism, discipline, and sheer physical power as key factors that set him apart from other boxers. According to Rogan, Joshua's body isn't just for show, it's a weapon. His strength, conditioning, and work ethic have helped him remain one of the most dangerous fighters in the heavyweight division.
Like boxers today, if you look at like Anthony Joshua, who's the heavyweight champion of the world now.
Is
you
he?
look at him, yeah, he's a English fellow. He's a tank. I mean, he's a.
Is he?
Oh man, you look at Anthony Joshua. He looks like a superhero.
Do those guys have as much stamina as these guys do, though?
Oh yeah, they do
Oh, they
today.
do?
Yeah, because the conditioning methods that they have today are just so superior. They understand rest and recovery, and they monitor your heart rate, and they're monitoring lactic acid buildup.
In a lighthearted moment on his podcast, Joe Rogan joked about Jake Paul's plan to potentially fight Joshua in 2026. Rogan laughed that maybe Paul needs all that time to load up on steroids before daring to face a former world heavyweight champion. His playful skepticism hinted that Paul might not be as serious about the fight as he claims, suggesting the timeline seems more like a delay tactic than a true preparation window.
That Dubois guy, though, holy man, the way he took out Anthony Joshua.
I know.
Yeah, Jake wants to fight Anthony Joshua now.
I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua's.
Said he wants to fight Anthony Joshua in 2026.
And the
they're
haters online are like, yeah, do it.
Well, they're like, what about
make that
now?
happen. Yeah.
They're like, what about fight
Do it
him now? He's like, no, I want to wait till 2026. They're like, okay.
To put on weight?
Put all the steroids, every steroid
Whatever.
they have.
I would watch.
Snake
Here's
venom,
the thing. I would
scorpion
watch
venom.
it.
Oh, by the way,
Scorpion venom.
Rollo reached out to me, John Rollo, my boy, and he sells this blue scorpion shit. He wants to get you some, Gordon.
I'll have some.
All right, I'll have him send you some.
Get on the
I'll
scorpion.
take some
Quadruple
too.
doses, like
Yeah,
We'll see what happens. I'm gonna start slow. I'm gonna find out if I get poisoned.
Yeah, just.
What the fuck are we doing? We're drinking venom from scorpions?
That is weird.
That's weird. He's got the dopest.
Shannon Sharp also weighed in, and he didn't mince words. Sharp bluntly stated that Anthony Joshua is simply too big and too strong for Jake Paul, calling it a serious mismatch. His perspective is shared by many in the boxing community, who question whether Paul could handle the sheer size, experience, and power that Joshua would bring into the ring. The consensus? If this fight happens, Jake Paul might be stepping way outside his weight class, literally and figuratively.
Elites. We talk about the elites at their craft. It's not gonna happen. If I'm not mistaken, I think Jake fought the closest,
Tyson Fury, brother.
Tommy Paul, the closest person to actually
Tommy Fury.
Tommy. If you want to challenge someone with the one loss you have. Take him out.
Jake Paul's habit of calling out legendary fighters has been a growing source of frustration for many boxing fans. Critics argue that Paul's callouts aren't grounded in a genuine desire to prove himself as a serious boxer. Instead, they believe his primary goal is to chase headlines and grab attention, rather than to earn credibility in the sport through meaningful competition.
I want to fight Anthony Joshua exclusive because I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua's ass. I know I will
just got
beat.
knocked out, right?
Yeah. He doesn't have a chin and he has no skill and he's stiff. And I love you, Anthony. We're friends. All this. I want to fight you. I will beat Canelo.
Stop the tape now. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. The thing I respect about Jake Paul is his strategic selection of opponent. The retired NBA player, the mixed martial artist who does not specialize in striking, and a almost approaching 60-year-old Mike Tyson. But Anthony Joshua's skills are 1,000 light years ahead of Jake Paul's. Anthony Joshua, Mr. 28 wins, 25 knockouts, 4 losses. Anthony Joshua has been in the ring with real fighters. His resume speaks for itself. I just have one thing to say. Jake Paul, you can't play boxing. Trust me, just stay in your lane.
Paul's most recent challenge to Anthony Joshua has been met with widespread skepticism. Many fans and boxing insiders are questioning whether Paul truly plans to follow through or if this is just another publicity stunt. But it doesn't stop there. Paul has also set his sights on MMA superstar Conor McGregor, claiming that while his own boxing skills are improving, McGregor is past his prime. This pattern is becoming familiar. Paul consistently targets high-profile names, using these challenges to elevate his visibility in combat sports, whether or not the fights actually materialize.
You think McGregor's done?
I think he has to come back and fight, but he needs to win.
Will he fight you?
I don't think he will. I think my skill level is outgrowing his in boxing, and I have the
the height advantage. He can't beat me, and I think he probably knows that. And like time, he's only getting older, and I'm only getting better.
In addition to Joshua and McGregor, Paul has publicly floated the idea of fighting Gervonta Tank Davis, one of boxing's most dangerous lightweights. However, a major hurdle stands in the way: weight. Paul fights at a much heavier weight class, and taking on Davis would require him to cut a significant amount of weight, a move that could affect his long-term fight plans and complicate his ability to jump back up in size for a potential future fight with someone like Joshua.
So a Tank Davis versus Jake Paul exhibition match was going to take place after the Lamont Roach fight, until Tank drew with Roach, leading to a rematch. Now, I'm going to say the unpopular opinion here, but the size difference would have been way too much. I mean, even if Tank brought Jake down to 190 or 200 pounds, he would have still been way too big. I mean, no matter how good a lightweight is, they would have almost no chance against a cruiserweight or heavyweight ranked top 200 in his division. And I'm sure people are going to bring up Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul, but Logan is just not a good boxer relative to Jake. You know, Jake's been training for a couple years, he's had over 10 pro fights, and Mayweather was also junior middleweight in this fight, not a lightweight like Tank. But that being said, I'm glad Tank and Jake isn't happening. You know, it would have been a fun spectacle, but I'm not the biggest fan of the exhibition stuff. And instead now Tank and Roach will be rematching in June. You know, the first fight did a little over 260,000 pay-per-view buys, which isn't bad in this market. Roach absolutely deserves a second fight, so I do think the rematch will do far more numbers. And as for Jake, I want to see him fight big-name boxers around his weight class. You know, the Tommy Fury rematch, for example, he's undefeated. The first fight did a little over 800,000 pay-per-view buys. He's around the same age range, so that's the fight I want to see, not the exhibitions. But let me know what you guys think.
Perhaps the most glaring issue surrounding Paul's challenge to Anthony Joshua is his previous loss to Tommy Fury. Fury, who was still considered a developing fighter at the time, managed to hand Paul his first professional boxing defeat. That loss severely undermined Paul's credibility and raised serious doubts about his ability to survive against a seasoned world-class fighter like Joshua. Fury's victory fueled the narrative that Paul may not have the skill set required to truly compete at the elite level.
You have got to be taking the mick. Jake Paul has called out Anthony Joshua and claims, I will fucking beat Anthony Joshua's ass. You know what? I want this to happen, just so Anthony Joshua could just absolutely decimate this man right here. So first he fights Tommy Fury, a legitimate professional boxer, and he loses. Then he fights an OAP in Mike Tyson and beats him. Obviously, he's nearly 60 years old. Then he goes to try and fight Canelo, which fell through, thankfully. Then he tried to fight Tank Davis, which again fell through. And now he wants to fight Anthony Joshua, a legit world-level heavyweight boxer. Anthony Joshua is someone that I've always looked up to and probably one of my favourite boxers to this day and age. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind Jake Paul here and there, but there's just things he does in the sport that I don't agree with at all. And fighting Anthony Joshua, listen, I'm all here for it, just to see him get knocked clean out. The fact that he thinks he can compete with these high-level boxers, even though he lost to Tommy Fury, is just laughable. But how long does it take for Anthony Joshua to knock Jake Paul out? I'm saying 5 seconds.
Amid these discussions, there have been persistent rumors suggesting that Anthony Joshua might be considering retirement, especially as he's been managing injuries in recent years. However, Joshua has firmly stated his intention to continue his boxing journey. He's openly shared that he draws inspiration from his idols who fought deep into their careers, and he's determined to push forward and keep writing his own legacy. Former heavyweight champion Shannon Briggs has weighed in as well, saying Joshua should never walk away too soon. Briggs believes Joshua still has plenty to achieve and that it would be a mistake to hang up the gloves prematurely. His comments echo a widely held belief that Joshua's story in boxing is far from over.
Most recently we've seen Daniel Dubois and Anthony Joshua not so long ago. I want to ask you about the heavyweight picture at the moment. Daniel Dubois, the rise of him. We're not sure what Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder's going to do next. It's in a good place because there's undisputed fights happening. There's another rematch around the corner. What was your first of all take on the Dubois versus Joshua fight and Daniel Dubois' coming out party, if you like?
I thought it was like a lot of people, I was shocked. I thought Anthony would win coming off the big knockout against Francis, but Dubois has always showed me. And again, I got to tell you, I was wrong in my judgment of not knowing. I seen him early in his career, and I thought it was, pretty much basic. But what he showed me more than anything is the fact that he has a determination and a will like no other man. I remember after taking my first loss, I went into deep depression. Here, this man bounced back from the Joe Joyce loss, He bounced back from the Usyk situation. He's always bounced back, and he went into the Joshua fight, confident and strong, and did his thing,
Yeah, for sure. What do you think Anthony Joshua should do next? People are saying 50% are saying retire, 50% are saying carry on. What do you think?
For Joshua, continue on forever. Why ever stops? Don't stop it. Look at Mike Tyson, 58 years old, fighting Jake Paul next week. 58 years old. Why would Joshua stop? Why would if Fury was to lose, never stop fighting? These guys should never stop fighting. That was the biggest mistake. Listen, in this day and age, as long as you're not getting hurt, if you're not having brain damage, why stop? If you win some, you lose some. You know what I'm saying? Keep fighting, because when you can't stop, when you stop fighting, you really stop fighting.
Jake Paul's track record of opponent selection has long been criticized. Many fans and experts argue that he carefully chooses fighters who are either retired, aging, or less experienced in order to pad his record without facing legitimate threats. His highly publicized fight with Mike Tyson, who was 52 years old at the time, drew particular backlash. Critics accused Paul of exploiting Tyson's name for financial gain rather than seeking a real challenge. Joe Rogan even commented on that fight, admitting he was relieved that Tyson didn't suffer any serious injuries. Rogan also noted that while Tyson earned a massive payday from the event, the match felt more like a commercial spectacle than a serious boxing contest, leaving many fans divided about the fight's true value.
Jake Paul has just called Anthony Joshua out. Yes, Anthony Joshua, AJ, the two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. This brother called this man out. Oh my God. Now, in a recent clip on Jake Paul's podcast, I think, he basically said that he will beat Anthony Joshua's ass, and he has no skill, no chin, and he's too stiff for him. He also apologized to Anthony, saying, Anthony, I'm sorry, we're friends, but I know I can beat your ass. This guy is tapped in the head. Then again, he almost got a fight with Tank. If Tank beat Lamont Roach when they drew, he would have fought Jake Paul. It was lined up, basically. A lot of people get mad when people say he's the face of boxing. These highly rated boxers want to fight Jake Paul. So, I don't know what to say, honestly. But one thing for sure, AJ will never fight. AJ is too classy for that. Way too classy. He respects the sport of boxing too much to fight this guy. Absolute plonker. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and make sure you follow for the most up-to-date and sharpest boxing news and content on TikTok.
MMA veteran Rampage Jackson also chimed in on the growing criticism of Jake Paul's career strategy. Jackson bluntly said that he would only consider fighting Paul if he were old enough, implying that Paul primarily seeks out opponents who are either past their prime or present minimal danger. Jackson's comment echoes what many in the fight world have been saying for years, that Paul carefully curates his matchups to maintain his image while avoiding genuine risks.
Jake Paul, no, but I'm never going to call out Jake Paul again, because I saw Butterbean call him out and that looked pathetic. So I'm never going to call out Jake Paul. But I've called out Jake Paul and stuff like that. Everybody calling out Jake Paul, and Jake Paul. I'm not calling out Jake Paul. He won't fight me for another 10 years until I'm too old to get in there. I'm not. Everybody know that's the money fight and stuff like that, but I don't give a fuck.
Just overall, your thoughts on his opponent selection these last few fights?
He's smart. He's smart.
That wraps it up for today's video. Stay tuned and we'll catch you next time.